terrifying hijacking of Skyjet 407, a demand that shocked the world. It was a crisp autumn morning, October 14, 2026, when Skyjet Flight 407 took off from New York's JFK Airport, bound for London Heathrow. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner carried 237 passengers and 12 crew members, business travelers, families, honeymooners, all blissfully unaware that their routine transatlantic flight was about to become a nightmare etched into history. At 9:47 a.m., just as the plane reached cruising altitude over the Atlantic, the cabin lights flickered. Passengers barely noticed until the intercom crackled to life. A voice, cold and deliberate, cut through the hum of the engines. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your new captain speaking. Skyjet 407 is now under our control. Remain seated. Do not test us." Panic erupted. Flight attendants froze mid-step. In the cockpit, the real pilots, Captain Laura Hensley and First Officer Mark Ruiz, were bound and gagged, staring down the barrels of sleek, matte black handguns. Three hijackers, dressed in nondescript gray suits, had stormed the flight deck with military precision. They bypassed security. How? No one knew yet, and they weren't amateurs. The leader, a tall man with a jagged scar across his left cheek, patched into air traffic control. His voice was calm, almost polite, as he delivered the first message. "This is Skyjet 407. We have the plane. Divert all air traffic from our path. We're heading west back to New York. You have 30 minutes to comply, or we start dropping bodies." The FAA scrambled. Fighter jets were dispatched from a base in Nova Scotia, shadowing the plane at a cautious distance. News networks exploded with breaking alerts. Skyjet 407 hijacked, terror in the skies. Social media buzzed with speculation. Was it a terrorist group? A rogue nation? No one had answers yet. Inside the cabin, passengers whispered prayers or clutched their loved ones. A young mother shielded her toddler's eyes. A businessman in row 14 typed furiously on his phone, live streaming to X, until a hijacker smashed the device with the butt of his gun. No signals, the hijacker barked, revealing a jammer clipped to his belt. The plane was a black hole, no communication in or out except what the hijackers allowed. 2 hours into the ordeal, as the plane banked sharply over the eastern seaboard, the leader broadcast his demand to the world. It wasn't money. It wasn't the release of prisoners. It was something so bizarre, so unthinkable, that it left negotiators speechless. "We want the United Nations to dissolve permanently. Every nation must surrender its sovereignty to a single global council under our command within 72 hours. If you refuse, we detonate the device aboard this plane, a thermal barred bomb powerful enough." Your move, the world reeled. A thermal barred bomb, sometimes called a vacuum bomb, sucks oxygen from the air and unleashes a devastating fireball. Disabled the transponder tracking was nearly impossible. On board, tension boiled. A passenger in first class, an ex-Marine named Jake Torres, locked eyes with a flight attendant. She slipped him a butter knife from the galley. It wasn't much, but it was something. Meanwhile, the hijackers' leader, now dubbed Scar by the media, grew impatient. He dragged Captain Hensley to the intercom, forcing her to plead with the UN. "They're serious. Please, do what they say." Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned with defiance. Scar didn't notice her subtle hand signal to the camera, military distress code she'd learned decades ago. That signal sparked hope. A covert Delta Force team, already airborne, pieced together a plan. Using satellite imagery and Hensley's hint, they pinpointed the hijackers' positions. But time was running out. The 72-hour deadline loomed, and the UN wasn't budging. World leaders argued in a frantic emergency session. Could they fake a surrender? Negotiate? Shoot the plane down? At R67, Jake Torres made his move. With the butter knife and a makeshift shiv from a broken seat belt buckle, he ambushed a hijacker guarding the rear galley. A brutal struggle ensued. Blood splattered the carpet as passengers screamed. Jake wrestled the gun free and fired, dropping the hijacker. The gunshot echoed through the plane, alerting Scar. Chaos erupted. Scar stormed toward the commotion, leaving the cockpit vulnerable. Captain Hensley, still bound, kicked the co-pilot's chair into the second hijacker's legs, toppling him. First Officer Ruiz broke free, tackling the man. In the cabin, passengers rallied behind Jake, overwhelming the third hijacker with sheer numbers. Scar reached the melee, firing wildly. Bullets tore through seats, grazing Jake's arm. But the tide had turned. A teenage girl, later hailed as a hero, smashed a coffee pot over Scar's head, dazing him long enough for Jake to land a fatal shot. The scarred man crumpled, his reign of terror over. With the hijackers dead, Hensley regained control, landing Skyjet 407 at a military airstrip in New Jersey. Cheers erupted as passengers stumbled onto the tarmac, some kissing the ground, The bomb, a dud expertly crafted to look real but incapable of detonation. The hijackers had banked on fear, not firepower. The world exhaled. Investigations revealed the hijackers were a shadowy anarchist cell, radicalized by a manifesto decrying global governance. Their identities remained elusive, but their audacious demand to dismantle the UN became a chilling what-if debated for years. Skyjet 407 survivors were forever changed. Jake Torres became a reluctant celebrity. Captain Hensley retired a legend. And the little girl with the coffee pot? She smiled shyly at the cameras, saying, "I just wanted to go home." As the sun set over New York, the city stood and broke in a testament to courage in the face of madness. But one question lingered: what if the next hijackers succeeded?
To like and subscribe.